Hey everybody, Coach Dwayne here. This video is intended to go over the formation we're going to play with this year and also the responsibilities of each position that we have this year. So three things off the bat. You'll notice that we're playing with 9, and that's because it's 9v9. Some of you had done 7v7 in the winter, so now we're up to 9v9. Second, we are in blue here, and that's because we're sort of copying our blue jersey color. And third, you'll see our formation is in a 2-1-4-1. That means 2 defenders, 1 defensive center mid, 4 midfields, and then 1 striker. That's because that's the way we're going to play this year. If you were on the U13A team last year, you'll recognize it because that's the same as we played last year, so you're familiar with it. If it's new to you, then that's what this video is for. So let's go over the responsibilities of each position, both the offensive and defensive responsibilities. Starting with our goalie, number 1. Defensive responsibilities, of course, stop the ball from going in the net. Offensive responsibilities, this is where the goalkeeper starts to play a role within our offense. What is that role? To be a pass, to be a connecting pass, usually from the defender or the CDM going back and then outletting it up the wing. Why is this important? Because this is 9v9. We don't want to end up playing 9v8 where our goalie isn't a part. Also because we have 2 defenders, so it's good for the goalie to be part of a back line where we have 3 that we can pass between. As we get older, the goalie's going to be able to be more and more involved all of the time, so it's a good lesson for that goalie. Okay, then we have the 2 defenders. These are center backs, 2 and 3. What are their defensive responsibilities? To cut out any threats, to stop the other team and then clear the ball out. How do they do that? The main ways are to play relatively closely together. We don't want to be spread way out because what happens is then the striker can just walk right in. We want it to be that we're close, about 15 feet apart. We'll go over how to discern where to be in a little bit later video, but about 15 feet apart. We want to be equal to each other in the same line. We don't want to be sort of off-centered like this because then the striker can get in behind one person and not be offside and receive a pass and go score. So we need to be sort of a flat back. These 2 should be talking all of the time. If the ball is over here, they sort of veer over here a little bit. If the ball is over there, they veer over there a little bit. And it would be nice if the striker was in between the 2 of them like this. So if the striker is way out here, then this gives them a run and we don't like that. So we need to communicate about that and go like this. If they have 2 strikers, some formations will make a 3-3-2. Then there'll be help coming back in the form of the 6, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So on the assumption, however, that there's only 1 striker, which most people play a 3-4-1, that's how I've set up green, there'll be 1 striker and we want these 2 to be marking that 1. So we have an advantage back here. We'll talk about why we want numerical advantages a little bit later. Okay, so that's their defensive responsibilities. Offensive responsibilities, similar to the goalie. We want them to be a pass and to help us reset. What is reset? Reset is anytime the midfields pass back, then we want to reset. That means get back to our original formation. Basically, what's going to happen is there's going to be battles in the middle, fighting for the ball, and we're going to get out of position because of just the natural flow of the game. We win the ball, and this person can choose to quickly go up, or this person can choose to reset the play. This is usually called build or break, right? So we either choose to break out or we choose to build it up again by starting over. And what happens is The defenders with the goalie with the CDM pass it around so that everyone has the 5 seconds needed to get back to their original formation, right? Strikers up high, wingers touching the line, um, defenders out wide like this when we have the ball. We'll talk about that later. They're in tight when they have the ball, but we have the ball right now, so they get out wide so that there's lots of good passes. So now we've reset it, and then the defenders continue on their offensive job of moving the ball around, passing it up to get us reset, and then always being a support pass back. If we run into trouble, there's always going to be a support pass back. We'll talk about that later too. Okay, so that's their job. Basically, to be a pass back, make simple, clean, on the ground passes to the defender, to the goalie, to the CDM. So this is a danger area where we don't want to lose the ball. We don't want to be doing anything risky. So just nice, safe, straight line passes here. Okay, so that's their offensive job. Let's go now to the six. The six is our CDM. Their job is first defensively, they have multiple jobs. They sometimes will go back and form a back part of the back line to make 3 defenders. So we'll kind of look like a 3-4-1. This happens in a few cases. First of all, if they're playing a formation with 2 strikers, then we'll notice that at the beginning of the game, and this person will be back while defending. If this person goes back, you'll notice what happens to the other defenders. They go out a bit, so we get wider, and then we're able to cover the 2. If, however, we are doing 1 striker like is normal, then this person doesn't need to go back to be part of the back line. Rather, they will do their own regular job. Let me just get reset here. Okay, so that's the first thing that the 6 does. The second thing the 6 does is they are the person who breaks up passing lanes. So what's going to happen is the striker is going to be around here. It is not the job of our defenders to cut out passes because that would mean they have to run ahead of the striker, and we don't want that because if the striker gets it, they get a clean line. So we want our defenders to stay goal side, which means be closer to our goal than the striker. So then what happens is they can pass to their striker, and we don't want that. That's where the 6 comes in, cut off the passing lane. So the 6 is always going to be making a block between whoever has the ball and that striker. So they will have to keep attentive to where is the ball. If the ball goes over here, then they need to be over here to block that pass because this guy will be up battling. So don't let there be a pass. If the striker moves out, then they move out. So always be in the way of that striker getting the ball. Ideally, striker would never get the ball the whole game because they can't get a pass to them. That's not realistic. Eventually they'll get it, but that's the goal for the 6. Other defensive jobs for the 6, it is their job to control the middle. So you'll notice one of the virtues of our 2-1-4-1 is that we have 3 central midfielders, and that is probably more than the other team is going to have. If they're playing a 3-4-1, they'll only have 2. If they're playing a 3-3-2, then they'll only have 1. And so we will have an advantage here, and we want that. We'll talk more about that sort of numerical superiority we want later. So they are supposed to be part of this middle unit that controls the center, that stops all passes getting through, stops all deking getting through. We want these 3 to work in unison to just clog up that middle and stop what's going on there. So that's their defensive responsibilities. Offensive responsibilities, first of all, they are part of the passing that happens back here. So when we're resetting, one option is the CDM will be a pass up. So we can build with our CDM. Another is when we are attacking, we're basically attacking with striker, wings, and these are called cams, central attacking mids. And so we've got quite a lot of offensive pieces going up because we only have the 2 defenders staying back. And the 6's job is to stay just behind the play. Why? For 2 reasons. To be a pass back, a safety pass back if we get in trouble, and then they can switch the field or they can reset it back to a defender, or they can dribble with it and then make a pass or something like that. So there should be some open space back here, and the 6's job is to own that space and be a pass back and then take advantage of that space until someone challenges them, and then they've got options. Second reason that we want the 6 just behind the play is because if they win the ball, let's see, there's a battle and green wins it, they've got to do one of 2 things. They're either going to be organized and start to do a build, but sometimes they will just hoof it up the field. And we want a properly positioned 6 to be in the best position to get that. So they should always be thinking to themselves, where is the best place to be that if that defender hoofs it up the field, it'll come to me. And so usually the answer to that is if the ball is over here, then they are kind of cheating over here a little bit. Still in the middle, we'll talk about how far they can go later. If the ball is over here, we don't want to be here because that's way out of position, right? The ball isn't going to get there. We want to be over here more because if they hoof it up the field, it's there. If they're trying to make a clean pass to striker, this is in the way. If they're trying to make a pass to the winger, then either the wing cuts it off or the 6 is able to cut that off. So about here. If it's in the middle, they're in the middle. So they just follow the ball around in behind the play. This is good even when we have the ball. We wouldn't want to be over here if our ball is here because that's not really a very good pass. We want to be an option. That's an option. If he's over here, be an option, a little bit closer, but still central. Okay, so that's their defensive and offensive responsibilities. Now let's go to the wingers. The wingers occupy this whole space here. They are usually going to be our fastest on the field and our 1v1 champions on the field. Why? Because they have a lot of running up and down to do. What are their defensive responsibilities? Always stay goal side of their wing when they have the ball. We don't want this to happen. That, let's say he comes and challenges here, leaving this wide open. We don't want that because this leads to them coming up, which breaks our defensive positioning, right? We're like this. And if this guy is just walking in, then these guys have to, break their formation and go like that. And then this guy's open in the middle. So we don't really want that to happen. Sometimes it will happen, and we'll talk later about what to do when that happens. But the wing's job is to make sure it never happens. They stay goal side, and so if this guy's got the ball, they are cutting it out. If this guy makes a run, they are running with. If this guy makes a run without the ball, our person is running right with them to be cutting this person out of the play. Their goal is to make the other wing disappear from the game. They're irrelevant to the game. They never touch the ball, just like that. Offensively, their job is to, when we have the ball, to get out wide to be a pass, to make a run down the wing to be a pass, to 1v1 this guy and win it and get down the wing and put pressure on. Get down the wing and cross it in, get down the wing and cut in, take a shot or pass it off, whatever they read the game to be most important at that moment, that's what they want to do. So they're putting pressure on. If the ball is over on the opposite side and they're crossing it in, right, this person is crashing in here to be a receiver of the pass. Very often it happens that they cross it and it just goes right through the box, right? Like either it's too high of a pass or it just misses feet and it ends up over here. So we want to win this, be first here to just put it right in the net. So they're way up. If they see the other side going up, they're up too. If the other team wins it, then they have to run back and get goal side. So those are the wingers. Let's talk about the cams. Cam is a central attacking mid. Our 8 and our 10. What are their defensive responsibilities? They, together with each other and with the 6, are responsible for patrolling the middle and owning the middle, making sure that it is difficult for a pass to get through or a person to get through, right? We don't want a pass getting through, so we want to block it. We don't want someone dribbling through either. We don't want this guy to be able to dribble right through. So they want to block everything off to prevent them from coming through the middle. The 6 is blocking passes to striker. These 2 are blocking dekes and other movement that these 2 are trying to make. So that's their first and foremost job. The middle is where most of the damage happens. The nets are in the middle. If someone's out wide, they have to come into the middle before they score. So if we control the middle, then we control the game. So that's their responsibility. Part of this is making sure we're marking up. We'll talk about this later. You'd never want someone to be open in the middle. The best way of playing defense is make it so that they're not even open, so they don't even get a pass. The only time people pass is when they're open, right? Open man gets ball. And so your best way of playing defense is just say, my guy's not getting the ball. Then they have to go somewhere else. Oh, I better pass it up. But then if these people are playing defense well, then they're not open either. And the best situation is no one's open, then our pressure will work. So these 2 want to be marking man to man. The 6 shouldn't have a man because they're basically trying to block the pass to striker and to recover any mistakes. Like let's say 6 is able to deke 10, he wins a 1v1, then 6 comes and clears it away. So if there's 2 in the middle, it is the job of the 8 and 10 to be marking those 2, leaving the 6 free to be a sort of safety backup. Okay, what are the offensive roles of our cams? They are our playmakers. They are offensively creative. They will be doing a lot of the passing, danger passing. Either they'll be passing up to striker to shoot, or they'll be passing to a running winger to get down the wing, or they'll be passing to each other and playing off each other. When they're in danger, they'll always be able to go back to. And so they want to control the play, control the middle, pass it around, and then make an attacking, penetrating pass through. Okay, well, that's their roles. Striker. What is the striker's job? Defensively, they have one job. When they have the ball, they don't have to do anything other than wait, right? So they don't have much defense, but the defense they have to do it with great urgency and quickness. And what they do is whenever their goalie or defender has the ball, they, with great speed, put pressure. And not random pressure like coming from an ill-conceived angle, like straight on, because what happens is then they can just find an easy pass. They want to put pressure on while also taking away one pass. So then they're doing 2 jobs, right? They're pressuring this person, but also cutting one person out of the play. The 4 here can't get it. And that forces them over here, which hopefully will have players over here that are cutting out other things too. So their job, while small, is very important, because if you win the ball here, you're putting pressure. That's a breakaway. That's a shot in a really dangerous zone. If you don't win the ball, but you still put pressure, what happens is it forces them to just hoof it up the field where we can recover it. We don't want them to have time to look around, find a perfect pass, and then be dangerous. We want them to feel scared, pressured, in a hurry. That's the 9's job. What is their job offensively? Score goals, right? They can do this in a few ways. First, they are going to be the farthest up the field target for a lot of passes. If our defender feels really ambitious and tries to make a good pass up to striker, we want him to be an option. So be a target. If the ball is over here, then you would move over here to be a target for a long pass. Same with our cams, right, or our CDMs. Be a target. The way to be a target is to not be marked. The way to not be marked is don't be near their players. So don't go right here, because then you get the ball and they're right on you and you can't turn. Come out here a little bit, 5-10 feet. Go into the gap between the players. One thing that's good to do is if you go in a little bit in the gap here, leaving more space here, because the ball's here, then a through ball can come there. And if you're right here, you kind of don't have as easy a through ball because you're not giving that through lane. So that's one thing that this person can do, just be the most forward pass. Another thing that they can do is make runs. So instead of being a stationary pass, they chose, I'm going to make a run, catch me on the run, and then that instructs the cams where to go. Sometimes the cams will instruct by making the pass, and it's like, oh, I guess I better run after it. And sometimes the cams will move their hand, point, I want it to go this way, or they'll talk, make a run, and they'll make the pass and then have a shot that way. Okay, so those are the defensive and offensive responsibilities of all the players on our team. Okay, in this video, we're going to look at one other aspect of our 2-1-4-1 formation, and that is our passing shapes. And so this formation sets us up well to have every player have an attack diamond and a defensive support triangle. And so there'll be tons of passes open. So I'm just going to show this. Let's start with the attack diamond. So let's say goalie has the ball, then our two, so if we have the ball, our defenders are out wide, wider than they would normally be. We'll talk about that later. And then 6 is the tip of the diamond, and so they can pass into any of these places. They have 3 passes. Hopefully someone will be open. They won't all be marked, right? If the 9 is taking away this, they can go over there. If this person's blocked, they can still go over there. So they will have a lot of options for passing. Pass to defender, and now they have an attack diamond. What is that? Well, as soon as ball goes over here, striker goes over here. And you can see the attack diamond they now have with one wing, with a cam, and with striker. So they can go to the short pass, or if they are ambitious, they can go for a long pass here. Same with this defender. They have this cam, this winger, and if the ball's over here, striker's moved over. And they have pass, pass, and then the long pass. The center defensive mid as well. If the ball's in the middle, striker's in the middle, and they have both cams, and then the long distance striker if they can make that pass. Cams have a wing, because if cams have the ball, wingers are thinking of making a run. So they've got a wing, they've got a striker is up the field making a run, and they've got the other cam, who should not be straight equal when we have the ball, but start to go up a little bit. We got attack diamond again. Okay, wings are the only one that doesn't have a perfect diamond, because if they get it, they've got, they can't pass it in one direction. They can't pass it out of bounds. So they have a cam as part of their attack diamond, and striker, who is up here maybe making a run, or up here. So they've got a portion of the diamond. Okay, and striker can't, yeah, striker's farthest up the field, so they can't pass it up anymore because they're the tip of the diamond always. Okay, so, and also, so that is an attacking set of passes. That's the best pass to make if it's available, is to go forward. If it's not available and we are pressed and stuck, then we also have a support triangle. Everyone does. So except for goalie, because they'll be farthest back. But so let's start with defender. Defender, they can go in their diamond up, or if they're pressed and they're in trouble, they've got a triangle back, and that is other defender and goalie, right? So these are safe support passes. Same with this, they've got goalie and other defender. If 6 has the ball and is trying to, make a forward pass but can't because they're all blocked off, then he's also got a support triangle, the 2 defenders. And so he could go this way to reset it, go that way to reset it, depending on where, like right here, this person's blocked. So go there. The cam also has support triangle in the 6 and a defensive pass back. And this one as well in the 6 and the other defender. The 9 has a defensive pass, like a support pass back to the 10 or to the 8, the cams. And this is a really good play. If striker receives the ball and wants to just lay it off, then these guys can come forward and take it and go. So that's a pretty good play. Wingers have a support as well. They have the pass back here, and they also have their CDM, which gives them 2 outlet passes. And then they have their attack options as well. And so this enables us to have every player have a ton of options for passing. And if we stay in this formation, right, and we're spread out wide because we have the ball, then we should be using all of our space and having a ton of options. Key to doing this is that the striker goes to wherever the ball is, right? If the ball's, oops, that's our goalie. If the ball's here, striker doesn't stay still in the middle, but rather kind of comes over here. Either makes a run down the wing or a run here, or just is a forward target, because that's what creates the diamond. Okay, there's one other shape that is worth pointing out, and that is the communication triangle. So this formation allows us to have forward-looking triangles where there is a bottom to the triangle, and then there's 2 forward parts to the triangle. And what happens here is the person at the bottom of the triangle is responsible for communicating to the 2 people in front of him in the triangle. Why is the person at the back the one that does the sort of communication and tells them what to do and whatnot? Because in soccer, the farther back you are, the more of the field you can see. And so you should know more about what the right play is versus the wrong play. So the goalie is farthest back and sees the whole play. They know if someone's pressing defender might not see it because they're facing the goalie or something. And so this person is in a better position to know what's going on. And so what they do is they tell the 2 defenders what to do. As we get older, we want to start using our voices to communicate, not just encouraging words like great job, not just the normal soccer terms like mark up, I got him, you got him, make a run, things like that, but also more detailed forms of communication where we're saying, you're marked, get open, man on you, turn around, or man on you, like quick back, or things like this. Also, communication happens not by words, but by putting the ball in certain places, right? If this person passes to a certain foot, that might tell the story of where that person should turn, right? You got a guy on you, you don't see it, so I'm going to pass to this foot over here. So when you turn, you're safe. Or just not being passed to. I'm not passing to you because you're marked, so you go the other way. So the furthest back in the communication triangle is the one who does the talking. And these people should listen, right? Get out wide, then you get out wide. Mark your man, there's a guy sneaking in, and then they go do so because this person can see. Okay, now as we go up here, the defenders are in the better position from the wings and the 6. So they dictate play. Get wider, come closer on down here, make a run, get more open, right? You're being marked. This can be hand movements, like a little gesture about where you're planning to pass it to, or actual communication. Get open, number 6. Move around, number 6, or something like that. And then the 6 has responsibility for the 2 cams. This is extremely important in defending because what we want to do is, as we said, control this middle space, and the way to do so is to be marked up, right? These 2 are marked up, and then we've got an extra that is covering passing lanes and coming in as support if they get beat. That's what we want to happen. And so if someone's wide open because our cam is out of position, then it's the 6's job to see that and say, mark your man, here's your man. You're on this man, you're on that man. Okay, now we're good. And so it's their job to see that. The cam has, both cams, will focus on this one, has a zone of responsibility too, and that is the striker and the winger. And this triangle where they are sort of dictating what happens occurs because these are the playmakers, right? They get the ball and they're either creating a run for someone by passing the ball. You know, they might go here and that tells the person what to do just by the pass they make. Or they might point with their finger, like go down the line, or they might yell it, make a run, because they have the ball and they're the playmaker. So they are sort of aware of where the defenders are and what they can do. Same with the striker, right? Make a run, pass it to you, and then they keep running. Yeah, give it back to me, give it back to me. So it goes, bzz, bzz, and then this person makes a run, and then it goes over top, and they go get a goal, something like that. So these are responsible for dictating and communicating what happens with this winger and this striker. Striker, when they winger, when they have the ball, have have the following triangle. They have a striker that is up and they might make a pass here, or they might say, you know, make a run here and I'll come into your space there. They just tell the striker what to do, either by making the play happen or by using their words. Mark up, press, etc. And then they also have the cam. When the winger has it, the cam is supposed to be a central pass option. And they say, you know, come closer, be a pass, make a run, whatever the case might be. Okay, so that is the triangle of communication, where the rule is the person at the back end of the triangle tells what to do, the people at the top end, because they can see more of the field. And everyone has an opportunity to be told what to do and to tell others what to do, except the striker who's already furthest up, so they don't have anyone up ahead, so they're responsible for themselves. Okay, now let's get a little bit more specific with our positioning, and to do so, I'm going to draw a couple of lines that are very commonly drawn on the soccer field. You might have seen this before. Maybe other coaches have done this with you. So it's very common to break the soccer field into wide spaces, which is this whole thing here. This space here is called the half space, all the way up here. The center space, and I guess there is technically two center spaces, but they're right beside each other. Then this is the half space over here, and that's another wide space. So there's two wide spaces, two half spaces, two center spaces. And what coaches often do, I'm just going to delete a few things to make this easier. What coaches often do is tell their players where to be with respect to the spaces that they're in, and I'm going to do that too. And so the basic rule is that, let's start with the goalie. They go two spaces. They go this center space or that center space. That's their general area. They can go out here if it's like, let's say a dribbling ball and they're clearly going to get there and grab it and there's no pressure on them. But you wouldn't want the goalie to be out here when they're pressing because it leaves the net wide open. So they're basically roaming from here to here. If the ball's over here, they're a little bit more here. They wouldn't want to be there. And if it goes over there, then they're a little bit more here. So that's their, and same with when we're passing it around, they are in this, either of the two center spaces. Okay, now let's go to our defenders. They also have two areas they roam in. This defender roams anywhere from here to here, and this defender roams anywhere from here to here. So they shouldn't go out into the wide space unless the one exception is if they have to cover for a mistake. Like let's say their winger has beat our winger. He shouldn't have to cover for this because it's this man's job, but let's say he gets beat and he comes way out here. Then he can come out, he'll call a switch, which we'll talk about. He comes out here and the 6 takes his position. And he's marking here until this guy recovers back here. Then he comes here, then he takes his position. But in general, assuming this never happens, his zone of coverage is these two spaces, and this person's is those two spaces. Okay, let's go to, I'm going to skip the 6 for a minute because 6 and 9 are kind of exceptions, and I'll explain why. Let's go to the 4 in the midfield. This person's zone is these two spaces. This person's zone is these two spaces. This person's zone is these two spaces. And this person's zone is these two spaces, right? So everyone's got two lines, just like the defender and just like the goalie. And you should be roaming in between your spaces based on a number of things. First, where the ball is, and second, whether we have the ball or they have the ball. And so the basic rule is if the ball is over here, you come to the farthest edges of where you're allowed to go. Well, I'll just do the 6 and 9 for now, but we haven't talked about that because we want to have numbers advantages. We'll talk about that later. If the ball goes over here, then we are moving over to where this side of where we're allowed to go. So our winger should not stay out in the wide space. They should be moving into the half space. Our cam should be coming more towards the middle to the edge of where they're allowed to go. And so we're more over here now. So that's one way that we know where to position ourselves. And you can see the basic idea is we have more numbers on the side that the ball is, and we're sacrificing a little bit on the other side because it's hard for any team, let alone a U15 Div 2 team, to make a successful string of passes to switch the field. And even in that time, we have the time to move over and get back into position. So the second way to know where we should be is whether we have the ball or they have the ball. And the rule is when they have the ball, we get small, compact, and when we have the ball, we get big. It's kind of like an accordion where our team goes from small to big based on whether we have the ball or not. So let's see how that works. They have the ball now. Let's say their defender has it. We want to get small. What does getting small mean? It means you don't want to be your widest, farthest away you can be from each other, right? These two defenders are technically allowed to be this far away, but that's not compact. We want to be close together. So we get more towards the middle of where we should be. Same with, let's say the ball's over here and they have it, then we want to be compact. And so our cam comes over to the edge of where they can be. Our other cam comes over to the edge of where they can be. We'll talk about our striker and our 6 in a minute. And they come over to the edge of where they can be. So we are quite compact. Why do we want to be compact? So that it's hard to pass through us and it's hard to dribble through us, right? Imagine this 6 is trying to dribble through. Wow, it's hard to make a pass through there or to dribble through because we're so compact. And then we win the ball. Let's say we get it and we start to reset. We pass back here and goalie has it. Now we want to get big. What is big? Going out to the edges of where we're allowed to be. Defenders get wide. You don't want to stay here because that's not big enough. Wingers get out to the widest part of where you're allowed to be. Don't be in the middle. Get out wide. Cams, get out to where you can be. And again, we'll talk about strikers and CDMs in a minute. Why? Because when we have the ball, we want it to be big so that it's easy to deke through and easy to pass through, right? Same opposite reason that we didn't want them to do it, so that there's space to make a deke through, right? It's easy to get through big spaces, both passing wise and dribbling wise. So we want to get big to make the other team mark us out here, which creates space in the middle. Okay, let's talk about the 6s. What is their space? So, and this is the same with the 9. The 6 and the 9 are the only ones on their line. And so they don't have just 2 that they're allowed to go on, they have 4. And that is if the ball's on this side, then it's these 2. If the ball's on that side, then it's these 2. So they should never really be out in the wide spaces on either side. They kind of roam from about here to the middle when the ball's here. And then when the ball's over there, they roam from here to the middle. Exact same with a striker. Since they're on a line all by themselves, when the ball's over here, they're roaming from here to here. We don't really want to be out wide here. That's the wing's job. And when the ball's, and we also wouldn't want to be over here, right? We're putting pressure where the ball is. So we're kind of here. If the ball gets past here, then, and over here, then we run over here. And now we're on the side of the ball. 6 comes over here too. And so they are either here if the ball's there, or they're here. So the 6 and 9 are kind of have a little more free reign because there's only one that's in the whole area. And their basic rule is whatever side they're on, they should be within those lines. Okay, so that is our positioning when it comes to being with the ball, without the ball, and what side of the field it's on. Okay, let's talk about goal kicks, receiving goal kicks, and pressing goal kicks. So let's start with us. We've got the ball. We've got the ball, so we want our defenders to be wide. Don't be here. Why? Because striker's going to press. We get a pass here. It only takes a second for a striker to be on you. So we want to be out wide. Usually the wing does not press the defender because the wing's job is to be marking the wing. And the center mid often doesn't press that defender either because it's their job to be marking here. So it's often the striker. So make more space. By the time the striker gets there, you've already taken a couple of touches and you can, and our guys had time, and you've got your triangle, your diamond, sorry, that you can go to. Okay, so, and that fits with our rule that when we have the ball, you want to be out as wide into your spaces as you can. So start out wide, right on the line here. Same here. Okay, then what happens let's say the ball gets passed out here and he starts to get pressed. Six's job and one's job is to be that support pass. And this will depend on what the striker does. If the striker cuts off this line, then the support pass is here. If the striker comes straight at it and is cutting off the six, then the pass is back here. Either way, that's fine because he has a support pass. Then there is our attack diamond, where we've got our cam, and now it's passed over here, so our striker is going to be the far up target, and we've got our wing. Our wing should come here to be a pass, get yourself open. Often in the 2-1-4-1, what will happen is our cam will be open here. Why? Because they're often playing with a striker who's pressing and two center mids, and often one center mid will take the CDM because that, you know, that's kind of close up and that's a better pressing position, and the other one will be kind of over here, which leaves this pass very often it's open. And this is a great pass because then this guy can go and it's got the striker, and it's like a really quick outlet. The other option is, of course, the wing, or if they can, you know, right up. So that's their attack diamond, and that's their defensive triangle, support triangle. So that's what they would do next. Okay, let's move on to how we want to press their goal kick. So let's give them the ball, and let's put them in a 3-4-1 because that's pretty normal. We'll probably see that a number of times. And what should we do? We want to be very aggressive on pressing. Pressing just means that you're putting pressure on the ball deep in there, and the point of it is to win the ball deep so that you get scoring chances, and that's what we want to do. So I'm going to go over that right now once I get this all set up. So if the ball's deep in, then we're a bit like this. Our defenders are marking their striker, but around half, we can push up all the way to half. And they're going to make a pass. Sometimes they'll go here, sometimes and then go there, or sometimes they'll just go straight to there. So let's see what happens. We want to press with our striker, and remember I said our striker's only defensive job is to press extremely fast and cut out a pass lane. So it's very important that they do not allow the pass to go back to goalie or come across here. So they're coming at it. It's more important that they cut this pass than that they get to the ball. Why? We'll see why. First, we'll also have another person that's going to be pressuring the ball. So it's like two of us against one of them. So we don't have to get there super fast because someone else is already getting there. But secondly, by the way we're going to play our pressure, we are going to be leaving vulnerable over here. And so we don't want them to be able to switch really quickly and take advantage of that. Okay, so let's see how it will run. We've got our formation, and we should be set up like our two cams, our striker on the edge of the box, and our CDM here, and our wingers right on their wingers. So pass goes here. Our winger cuts this. They've got nothing. They're close enough that if a pass goes here, they're right on their feet and they can't turn. At the same time as the pass has gone out, our striker goes here and our cam goes here. But this leaves open stuff, right? So what we want to do is we want to move our other cam here, which will cut, also help to cut them to pass it to the other side. And we want to move our 6 over here so that they have basically no options to go to, right? So they're being pressured by 2. This is cutting off this whole, this is cutting off this whole, there we go, lane and this whole lane, and this is cutting off this pass. And so all that they can do is maybe pass it up. If they're a good team, their strikers come over here. We're over here. They're passing it up, but then we have the 6 and all these players to try to win the ball. Okay, so the point of this, as I said, is if we can win the ball here, so we're sacrificing a bit. Oh, and this guy kind of comes over here so that a pass can't be made down the wing. Um, so we are putting a lot of pressure on them. Why? Because if we can win the ball here, that is basically our best chance to score the whole game. We've just won the ball and it's just a shot, or a pass and a shot. So that's one reason. Secondly, we're putting pressure here so that they don't have time to make a nice, clean pass to get exactly open. We're pressuring them to scare them. Oh no, I gotta panic and just pass to the winger, but they're covered and we win it there. So the goal is to either win it here where the pressure is, or one pass away when they make a sloppy pass, and we can win that battle. Okay, so that's how we're going to press, and I'm hoping that we'll score a number of goals through the pressure this year. With a U15 Div 2 team, this pressure should be effective because they're not, Champions League, tiki taka stars that are just going blah, blah, blah. It's going to be hard for them to find a nice, clean pass or string together passes. And so when we're putting pressure on them, that is going to make players that aren't experts yet fumble a little bit. Okay, in this video, I want to talk about numerical superiority. This is sort of an overarching goal or sort of philosophy of the team, and it's already happened in a number of different ways, so I'm just going to put it all together. Let's start with their goal kick, because that's where we just left off. We want to have numerical superiority, which means have more numbers than them close to the ball. Of course, it's 9v9, so there is no actual, superiority of numbers. But if we have more numbers close to the ball, then we actually have superiority in the relevant area, because you can't go a pass from here all the way over there. So this person's kind of out of the play, and so we have superiority if we can be closer, have more players closer to them. So that's why we're doing this. We go here, cut. Sorry, this has gone there. Cut that. Bring a guy here. Put our wing right here. Put our 6 here and put our 8 coming in to block the center. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are really defending this area, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe kind of cut this out. They could try to go long over there, but this guy is ready to cut that off too. So we have more players than them when they are trying to have a goal kick. That's numerical superiority. Same thing happens when we have a goal kick. So let's recreate that. We've got the ball. Okay, there we go. We've got the ball and we make a pass out wide. This player is going to have a ton of options. So they should have that support triangle, and since our strikers come over here, they should have that attack diamond to go to. So they have a lot of numbers to go to. So if they're pressing with, usually this person comes in and these will mark up, then because we have the numbers in the middle, we're going to have the numerical superiority, either a pass here, or if that person charges here, and a pass there, because we have more numbers. Because they've got 3 back here, most play with 3 back. We're only playing with 2 back, and we're putting the extra player in the middle. So that's how we get our numerical superiority on our goal kick. The same thing is true in the middle, and this is the core to our system. Since we're playing a 2-1-4-1, we have more numbers in the middle, right? Usually the other team will have 2 or maybe even only 1 in the middle. They'll be playing a 3-4-1, which gives them 2 center mids, but we have 3. So we have numerical superiority. That means we are able to control that middle space. If we get beat, we got another guy coming in, and we've got more players cutting out passing lanes, more passes when we win it to get to, and so that's our numerical superiority again. We have numerical superiority when we're defending because we have two and they usually only have one striker. If a team plays a 3-3-2 and has two strikers, then we move back to like a 3-4-1, so we maintain our numerical superiority. We do that for when they're attacking, and then when we're attacking, this person will come back up a little bit, but always be ready to come back. And we also have numerical superiority when we're attacking. How does that work? Well, since we are playing a 2-1-4-1, we are only keeping two defenders back. Most will have three defenders back. So we are actually attacking with more players than normal because we're bringing this 6 up to be just behind the play to give us some superiority in terms of numbers. And so what happens is whatever side the ball is on, we should have more numbers. So let's move the ball over, let's say, to the wing. We've got striker who's come over. We've got our cam. We've got our CDM who's over. We've got our defender who's over. This one's as far over into their space, which is to the half. And we have our other cam who might be trying to be one pass away or something like that. So we have all of our support pass back, that triangle, and we have our attacking options. They are usually defending with one-on-one here. They have three, but usually what happens is only two of them are in the play. This one is kind of out of the play a little bit, sort of marking, if we make a run here. So we're going to use that to our advantage in that when we've got the ball over here, we have more players close to the ball, right? You can see it because they've got two, maybe two here, but we've got the extra center mid, and so that gives us the advantage here. If they're marking there, then our center mid is here. And same with if it goes on the other side, then the way we switch our advantage in the middle is to create an advantage when the ball's way over here. And so we've got our support passes, lots of options, and we've got our attacking passes, lots of options. And whatever these center mids do, we've got an open pass if they're going here, and we've got that. So we want to maintain this sense of numbers advantage wherever we go, because the more numbers you have near the ball, the more likely you are to win it. And so that's our basic philosophy that we are going to run with. Okay, there's a couple of other things we can do with our numerical advantages, and they come out in transition. Transition occurs when they've just won the ball from us or we have just won the ball from them. And so let's look at what happens when they've just won the ball. Okay, so there's been a battle in the middle. It's it's kind of loose. It goes around, but they maintain possession. They've got it, and we have the numbers over in near the ball. And so what we want to do with that is win the ball back within 5 seconds. So we press hard and mark up tight so that they've got no passes. This guy is marked up. This guy is marked up. We're cutting out all the obvious passes forward. And so we start to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've won it back. So that's our goal. So every player should have that internal clock. Oh, they've just won the ball. So do pressure, do our positioning so well that we win it back within 5 seconds. If they are able to pass it back, then our striker is hard on the player to cut off passing lanes and win the ball. If they've won it and they're trying to pass it up, our players are in the spots to break up the passes. So that's the first thing we do with the numerical advantage. The second thing we do with the numerical advantage in transition is when we've won the ball. So let's say that we've now won it. There's been a battle in the middle, the ball's bouncing around, but we win it. What do we do? And I briefly talked about this. We have two options, to build or to break. If there's an obvious advantage, like we've just won it and striker's in a position of going for it, and there's a pass there, by all means break out and go try to score a dribble, try to score, great. If that's not there, then we revert to build mode. That means that we kind of reset the play, build it up. We pass it, and because we have the numbers advantage, this should be easy to do. We have won the ball, so we're starting to get out wide. We can pass back to CDM. We can make one of our defensive passes, and then we start to move it around. And in that time, we have gotten ourselves back in the proper position, and then we can start to go forward, right? We are wide. There's lots of room to dribble through and pass through. So we now can go and break out whenever the moment comes. So that's what we want to do with our numerical advantage. And it should be set up that since we have more players near the ball, we can do that build pretty quickly. Okay, another area of focus this year is to notice the way that what you do affects the rest of the team around you. Whether you do something good that will make other players better, whether you do something bad that will make other players worse and will affect them in negative ways. So it's very important for us to all fulfill our roles as they're assigned, because it will impact the team negatively if we don't. Let's take a look at a few examples of this. So let's say we are resetting, right? We've won the ball, there's been battles in here, and our cam passes back to a defender. But we're all mixed up, right? Like it's been a battle. And our rule is we reset, everyone gets back to original position, wingers out wide, strikers up high, and defenders need to become passes for each other out wide like this, right? So that he's got either the goalie or a pass over here to switch the field. But what happens if this person doesn't do that? They forget, you know, I'm just going to stay here. Then this person's in a lot of trouble, right? They're getting pressured. Or let's say this person doesn't go out wide too. Here's another. It's like, then there's no pass for them there. They need to get out wide so that there's a pass. There's no pass for the defender there because they haven't done their job to get themselves out wide. And so you're making the player worse by not doing your job, because this player could look good and make a nice pass, but there's no pass to be made. And so now they're stuck. They're being pressed. They lose the ball here and they look like, you know, they've made a mistake, but really the mistake happened earlier when there was no pass option for them. Yeah, so same thing if, like, yeah, let's say we're resetting here and our winger doesn't get out wide, our winger stays here. So the reset happens, and this person who should be, as soon as they see the ball going back here and starting to swing, then they should be running out wide even before this defender has it, because they know what's coming. And they're out wide, and then it makes our team look great because a series of passes just happen. It's switch the field, go up and go. But if they don't do that, if they stay here, then not only does it take away that pass while they're getting pressured, but you actually have taken away this pass too, because you've brought your man into the middle, and now this pass is hard to pull off. They just stick a foot out. So what you want to do is get wide, if only for the reason of creating a pass over here at the at another part of the diamond, right? This person comes here, but if our cam is in the wrong place and decides to go out wide, then they've come into this space and taken away this pass option. And they've also taken away this. So everyone has to know, like, the position you're playing is not just about you getting the ball, but it's about having open space so that other players on our team get passes too. Another example where us not doing the right job can harm the team is, let's say that they've got the ball and we're set up as we should here. And our striker does the good job of pressing, and there's a pass, and our striker keeps doing the good job of cutting off a passing lane, and everything's going well. This person's marked, this person's marked, strikers being cut off by having two on them, but and to cut off a pass. Everything's perfect except for one thing. Maybe you can see the problem. This person isn't marking up. And this is a big problem because it ruins all the work that everyone's done, right? Ball always gets to the open person. If someone's open, then no one, why did anyone else mark up? Because they had a pass in the end. So it takes the whole team to mark up in order to do what we want to do, which is to put the pressure on, give them no passes, so it gets coughed up or they make a um, bad clearance or something like that. So if we're not paying attention to marking up, then we are the weak link where a pass is available. And then if this, we're not paying attention to the run, then that we're the weak link over here. And ball will find the weak link, and everyone else can do a perfect job, but one person doesn't, and that lets the team down. Okay. So those are a few ways where we want to ensure that the way we play the game is actually connected to what other players are doing as well. Okay, one other way in which one player can not do their job and negatively affect the team. Let's say that they've got the ball and our wing has not gotten goal side. They didn't run back. This person's made a run and they didn't track back. Then a pass goes down the wing and they've got the ball. And this now puts a lot of pressure on our defense to do what it shouldn't have to do. Basically, what happens at this point is so this person, as the bottom of the communication triangle, will yell, switch. And that means that they are coming out here and they're switching positions with the six who will come in and take their position, because this is a more dangerous thing. If this person comes back, then we've got to have our center mids coming back to help. And then they take the person on here until they catch up. And if you do get beat, even if it's honestly like you were ahead and did it right, but you just got deked, then you've got to sprint back, because this person will slow the play, and then you can get back to the play on your man. This person can come back, this person can come here. So and if it so happens that the ball gets way down here and you're in a 1v1 here and we're sort of back like this, and you get beat, just like honestly you did an honest try, then again yell switch. This person comes to take this and the six comes in here. These guys recover back here. So but we don't want to have to do all of this work. We want it to be that the seven takes care of the seven, right? They just win these 1v1s and they keep goal side all the time. But this finally, this speaks to whenever a mistake like this happens, whenever someone isn't doing what their job is, it is the job of the person at the bottom of the communication triangle to fix it. So let's say, going back to our first example, we start to reset by passing it back, and our winger has not gone out wide. Pass here, pressure's coming. It's this person's job to yell, get out wide, right? This person should know, but they've forgotten. Get out wide, because that makes a pass here, but also makes a pass here, right? And so it's their job to remind them of that. If they've got the ball and we've done the good job of pressing, but we're in the situation where a man's left wide open, to sort of ruin all the pressure we've done, it's the person's job at the bottom of the communication triangle to correct that. They see, hey, mark your man, and they say that, get on your man, and then that fixes the problem. Same thing for when the situation happens that just happens where the pass goes through and he's got a breakaway, right? Our bottom of the communication triangle is here. And so he directs what has to happen. Run back, okay. Switch the field, switch positions, okay. And then he's taken this, and then he recovers, says, okay, you got the man now. He goes here, he goes here. So whenever a mistake happens, it's the person's responsibility at the bottom of the triangle to tell the person what to do to fix it. And hopefully that person will remember, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be out wide. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to get goal side, oh yeah, I'm supposed to mark up, or whatever the case might be, and then they'll quickly correct the mistake.